8:53 here on the Big 550 KTRS. Kind of a fast and furious hour. Chet Pleban is going to join us next hour. Also, Scott Sherman. We're also working on some audio. Brian Nieves had a rant down at the Capitol earlier this week. People were tweeting about it. It was a legendary rant on the Senate floor. We are actually cobbling that together right now. We'll have that rant for you here next hour as well. We'll talk to Scott Sherman about that. Right now, look who popped his head in. Jeff Lapidus. He's the retirement coach. Jeff Lapidus, good morning this morning.
Good morning, McGraw. How are you?
You are the host of Straight Talk on Retirement at 10 o'clock on Saturdays here on the Big 550 KTRS.
Absolutely.
What are we talking about this weekend?
I want to talk a little bit about the comfort of cash flow. You know, planning for retirement, most folks, their first question is, do I really have enough? But what they're really talking about is, do I have enough cash flow?
Right.
And it all starts with understanding your numbers. Last week we talked a little bit about how most conventional wisdom says that you need between 75 and 80% of your pre-tax income to retire, but we know that's not really true. What it comes down to is understanding how much money you're spending now, because most people want to maintain the lifestyle they have today.
Right. It's really interesting. A lot of people, myself included, feel like we're never going to have money to retire.
Well,
do a lot of people have that thought?
Many of them do, but again, McGraw, what you're really doing is you're responding the same way most folks do, which is you're thinking about capital. And what I would suggest to you is that in retirement, it's all about cash flow. And you know you have certain sources. You're going to have you'll have Social Security, which you'll be able to take at some point in time. Many folks in the city work for large corporations. They may also work for hospitals, or they may be teachers working for the government, so they have pensions as well. And so once they put these two together, the real question then becomes, do I have enough income from the other assets that I have to maintain the cash flow that I have? And so I'd like to give everybody a real simple formula today. Get rid of some of that sweat off the brow you have today on that.
Oh, so stop worrying.
Exactly. Stop worrying about it.
Right.
What you really need to do is sit down for about 15 minutes, go through your checkbook, really find out how much you're spending every single month, add up your current sources, and then really what you do is figure out how much cash flow you have or you need for retirement.
You know, when you do that, people hate to go look at their bank statements because they can't believe how much money they wasted every month. And it's just like, this is just what a total waste of money. And if you have it, you'll spend it. And if you put it away, you won't spend it.
Well, in many cases, you're right, McGraw. But what's important for folks to realize is, and some folks will come in and say, you know, we're going to cut back on this and we're going to do that. But the fact is your life is your life.
Right.
I mean, your spending habits are what they are. So if we're able to maintain that same cash flow you have after you retire as you had pre-retirement, then you'll be in a real good place. Yeah. And that's really where the comfort's all about.
It's really interesting. And this formula you talk about in the numbers, that's the first time I've ever heard anybody talk about. Write out your numbers. What are your numbers? It's a really interesting thing. We have a minute. I want you to go back and explain to me again the difference between a Roth IRA and an IRA. I understand the difference in that it's pre-tax money versus post-tax money. But you said Roth IRA are only for the select few, and it's better to have a regular IRA. Explain that.
There's a couple of reasons. Number one is it's really the time value of money. And it comes down to tax deductions today are worth more than tax deductions later. Most folks that retire either retire on income or based on an income level that they had before retirement is the same as when they are retired. So will you really be saving money? Will bypassing those tax deductions today when you're in a higher tax bracket or the same tax bracket make sense to do so? And I have to tell you, I've run every calculator on the planet, and the answer is no.
It's
an urban myth.
Right.
If it's for your kids, and the other thing, especially young people, you're putting money into retirement plans, you could end up doing this for 30, 40, 50 years. I mean, that's why we don't see that type of savings.
Yeah. So more of this on Saturday.
Absolutely. 10 a.m.
10 a.m.
Right here on the Big 550 KTRS.
He's the retirement coach, ladies and gentlemen. He is Jeff Lapidus. Jeff, thanks for checking in. Always a good time to check in with you.
Thank you, McGraw.
You got it.